Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Mike and I'm the Crypto Liberal. And I'm back. Hey, I'm sorry I've been gone for weeks at this point. Um, Little unfortunate news. My mom died, so that took up a while. I traveled out of state, spent time with the family, got to get there in time to be in the room when mom passed. So that wasn't the greatest event in my life. And then just some other things going on that it just made it impossible to keep updating and making videos and telling you what I think is going on in the market. But today seemed like an opportune time, right? I mean, the market has been sideways and down for months, just like we've been talking about on this channel since May, literally since May, right? And I told you we're not going anywhere anytime soon, and we haven't. And the last 2 days, the market is turned up, right? Bitcoin's up, Ethereum is up, Cardano's up, a lot of other, smaller cryptos are up, and you're starting to see I guess the influencers come out of the woodwork and say, "Oh, we're coming. The bull's back. The bull's back." Not so fast, my friends. Not so fast. Now, if you recall on this channel, let's look at the chart, the Bitcoin chart, right? I started this channel way back here. See this descending red line. I started this channel back here, before we hit this red line. Before we hit this red line, I was telling you about this red line when we were going down. And I said, I think it's going to hold its support, right? And it did for like a month, over a month. Look at this this is the daily chart, Bitcoin on Coinbase. Look at this chart held, this support held for like a month. And we finally broke it. When we broke it, what did we tell you? And when did we break it, right? We broke it at the beginning of June, or middle of June, really, like June 11th, we broke below that. June 12th, we broke below that support line. And what have I told you ever since then? Ever since the middle of June, I told you it would be near impossible. I didn't say that, because we will get above that line. We will get above that support line, now turn resistance. We will get above it. But I told you it will be dang difficult to get above it. And in fact, it will be very difficult to get above it. And in fact, we weren't going to get above it anytime soon. And we haven't. Let's follow that line. I told you on June 12th, basically, that line is going to be the battle of all battles. And what has happened since then? Well, we stayed below it. Look at this. We stayed below it for a couple months. And then on August 14th, like what is that? July, August, 2 months after, we come up and test that red line. You can't make it up. To the penny, pretty much. We test that red line of resistance now, and got rejected. Boom. Down, down, down we go. Came back up again. Look, you can't make it up. And like a month later, September 14th, tested it again. Rejected. And what's happening now? We're testing it again, on October 25th. And what's happening? Well, we wicked right up to that. I mean, look at this. I haven't touched that red line since the last video I made. I haven't touched it. I haven't touched it really since, I adjust it just tiny little bits as new information comes in, as new candles close, right? But I haven't touched that red line for weeks, months at this point. And what happened? Look at this. You can't make it up. I haven't touched that red line, and we wicked right to it. Now, what's going to happen? I'm not saying we're not going to break through that red line. But if you go back and watch my prior videos from weeks ago, I told you that red line is going to be strong resistance. And here we are. We're right at it. So why are people getting excited about Bitcoin right now? I have no clue. You have to get above that red line. And I've told you on this channel repeatedly, you need to get above that red line. You need to hold above that red line for a month, 2 months. need to eventually come back after we break above it, right? We need to come back down and test that red line and make sure it turns into support, which might be like over here, let's say. If let's say it happens a month or two later, right? So let's say we break above it tomorrow on Thursday, October 27th. Well, let's say we come back down and test it on November 27th, right about here. It would be down here. And I don't even think that's long enough. I mean, it might have to be 2 months. So on December, let's say December 15th, it'd have to be down here, right? So why get excited about Bitcoin? This is my game plan, not financial advice, right? Wait until we get above this red line. Wait until we get above the red line and hold it as support, or hold it above that red line for like a month or 2 months. Wait until we come back down and test that red line as support, and then enter a Bitcoin trade. And if that's what happens, again, this is just my game plan. If that's what happens, right? You break above it here at 20. It's about what, 21,000. Would say we break above it tomorrow at 21,000, and we hold above it for a month or two, and then we come back down and test it as support, right? You can enter not at 21,000. It might be at 20,200 or 19,900. It will be a lower price if, in fact, we come back down and test it as support. So why get excited about Bitcoin now? Why are these influencers trying to get you to ape in to just a terrible market? And it's still terrible. There's nothing that has changed. There's nothing that has spurred this rally. And in fact, let me show you something. The last major support that let's first talk about the support we've been gliding atop for the past month or so here, right? So this descending red line, right, that we just got done talking about, this goes back almost 2 years. I mean, let's cover this for people that might be new, right? I didn't just make up this red line. It's been here for a long time, right? It goes back to essentially February of 2021, right? It starts here, this middle red line. That's what we're looking at. Look after, this is like the first time we started going to our all-time highs around 64,000, right? We broke above it. We broke above this red line, and then we came back down here and tested as support. In April of 2021. And then we broke below it after we got to 64,000, right? Broke below it, came up and touched it as resistance here. I mean, we can extend this out. See how it touched it as resistance right there in July of 2021. Got rejected, broke above it finally. But what happened, right? Just like I described what I think is going to happen this time. Broke above it, held above it for a month or two, came back down and tested as support at a lower price than when we first broke above it here, right? Broke above it, held it for a month or two, came back down and tested as support. And then what happened? Off to the races to 69,000. But after we got to the all-time highs, we came back down. What happened? Support. That's middle red line support. Again, middle red line support. We got, this is where we started this video, right? Then we held it as support for a month or two. Or a month, essentially, here, back in May and June, right? A month. We glided atop that red line. And then it fell apart. So we glided along a support line for a month. Then the last time we came down and tested it as support again, it didn't hold. And here we are. We've been below it since. And now we've been below it for months at this point. But see what we've been doing like the last month? We've been gliding along this support line, this ascending line of support, this red line going up. Where does that come from? Well, let's look at that. That's even a longer support line. Let's check this out. Look at this. You have to go way back here. Way back in the way back time machine. Okay? So we go back, look at this, all the way to December of 2018, right? When we were down at $3,000, our last low after our previous all-time high of around 20,000. We came all the way down to about 3,100 or something, right? But keep an eye on this line. So It's this upper red line. So it was support here. And then, we went up to, what did we go up to? About 11,000, I think, or 13,000 right here. But then we came back down and tested that red line as support. Now, I'm not counting this because we were holding it as support in here, right? Holding it as support in here. And we came back down and tested as support, but this is the COVID event right here, right? So that's like a black swan event. The whole world shut down. It's no surprise we crashed through that red line. But after we finally broke above it again, look at this, support for a good couple months. Went above it, but it came back down, tested the support again, in September of 2020. And then we were off to our all-time highs. And we haven't seen that line since. But now what is happening? We've revisited that line. And we've been gliding above it for a month. Well, when's the last time we glided above a support line, a major support line, a years-long support line for a month or so? When's the last time? Well, it was just in May and June, right? We just talked about it. Glided along this support line for a month. And here's what I'm afraid of, right? We glided along it for a month, and then we had this little rally, like 3-day rally. See this in here? On, what is this? May 28th, 29th, and 30th. We had a nice 3-day rally. And then it stalled out. And then we went back down to test it as support. It didn't hold. Is that what's about to happen? Right? The next major support line. Been gliding above it for about a month, right? Just like back there. A nice, so far, 2-day rally. Hitting resistance. Are we about to come back down, test this lower red line of support, and see that it doesn't hold? Maybe. I'm not smart enough to tell you for sure what's going to happen, but I'm not excited enough to start going on Twitter and coming on YouTube and telling you the bull is back, because it is not. That is one thing I'm convinced of. And not financial advice, but I am convinced we're not entering a bull market right now. Either we break above that resistance line and we go above it for a month or two, but we're going to come back down and test that line again as support. That's my game plan. Not telling you what you should do, not financial advice, but that means we're not in a bull market, right? Because we haven't broken bullish yet. We haven't even broken bullish yet, and we haven't tested the former resistance line as support to further evidence a bull market, right? There's several pieces missing. Break above the resistance, hold it for a month or two, come back down and test it as support, and hold the support and bounce off of it. I mean, there's 4 or 5 things right there. We're at zero. 0 things have happened. If we get rejected off that resistance line, right where we're at right now, right? Right now, we're at that resistance. If we get rejected there and we come back down and test this red line, I do not expect it to hold. Now, if it does hold, I think that will be our final capitulation event, in my opinion. Again, not financial advice. It will be our final capitulation event. Whether that happens, and maybe I'm wrong, right? But if I'm right, it might happen next week, next month, 3 months from now, 6 months from now. But I have a feeling we are going to come back down to that red line. It's not going to hold. People are going to freak out. There's going to be a big sell-off. I don't know, Bitcoin maybe goes to 14,000, 13,000, 12,000, but it will be short-lived. That's when the bull market will start. And that's when I'll start thinking about getting in entries. Either one of two things will happen for Bitcoin. I mean, I'm dollar cost averaging in, but most of my funds are tied up in other cryptos right now. But that's when I'll start thinking about getting into Bitcoin. Either when we have that final capitulation event, I'll start moving back into Bitcoin, or we get above that resistance line, hold it for a month or two, come back down and test it as support. I can get in lower than where we're at right now into Bitcoin, and that's when I'll get back into Bitcoin. That's all. That's it. Now, the other thing that we want to talk about on my channel is if you followed me from day one, you know that I think Cardano is going to outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin by the end of the year, a year from now and 5 years from now. And Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin by those same time frames. Well, ever since I, stopped making videos, about the time my mom died, Cardano's kind of taken a hit, right? So Cardano is taking a hit, and it's lower right now than in our dollar cost averaging portfolio that we track on this channel. Right now, Cardano is lower than Ethereum and Bitcoin, but we still have a couple months to end the year. If that final capitulation event occurs in the next month, everything's going to crash. Everything will crash. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, everything will crash. But when it recovers, Cardano will recover faster. Like I said, I think it will be short-lived. So if that final capitulation event comes in the next few weeks, we have a month of crappy, capitulation, and then we start to rally, Cardano will rally faster. Ethereum will rally faster than Bitcoin. Cardano will rally faster than both of those. If I'm wrong and we break above that resistance level, right? Well, like we've seen the past 2 days, Cardano has outperformed Ethereum and Bitcoin the last 2 days. And so if I'm wrong and we break above that resistance line and we, go up for a month or two, again, Cardano will outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin. We are near the end. That's what I'll say. We are near the end of the bear market. I mean, near the end, that could be a month. It could be 3 months. It could be 6 months. It could be a year. But we're getting to the end. Dollar cost averaging is your friend. That's what I'm doing. I dollar cost average every week into three cryptos right now. I'm dollar cost averaging in an equal amount into each: Cardano, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. Right now I'm doing a Bitcoin on Saturday, Cardano on Sunday, and Ethereum on Tuesday. Money, same amount of money each day, or each of those days, into those 3 cryptos. And whether the bear market lasts a month, 3 months, 6 months, all that crypto I'm buying right now will pay off tenfold 4 years from now. So that's my game plan. And I will maneuver in between the cryptos I do hold based on what I told you. Like if Bitcoin has that final capitulation event or rallies and comes back down and tests that resistance line as support, then I will move maybe out of some Ethereum and put it into Bitcoin. But my number one crypto still is Cardano. I'm going to stick to it. And we'll see. By the end of the year, maybe I'll have to admit I'm wrong. But again, I'm in the long game for Cardano. A year from now, 5 years from now, I think I would be rewarded handsomely. Like me, handsomely, right? Okay, that's all I have for you today. I hope you're having a great day. I hope your family is doing well. Hug your mom and dad, hug your kids. Life is short, and you never know when somebody's gonna be gone. For my mom, it was kind of a sudden thing. She wasn't in the greatest health in the world, but just one day, they live out of state from where I am, and one morning I got a call and said, "You better get home." So it can go that fast. So love your family. That's all I got to say. So that's all I have. I hope you're having a great week. The next few days are going to be key to what happens, right? Do we get rejected at that resistance line, or do we break through? Keep an eye on it. My name is Mike. I am the Crypto Liberal. Thanks for joining me. Ban the guns.